So here we are in a 2014 Tesla Model S, what's now referred to as the classic Model S, and it's just had the version 11 software installed. So it's been 24 hours now since I've installed this, and this video is just about my views on this new user interface. So this version 11, I'll just bring it up here, which is actually 2021.44.25.2, is a new major software update which has come down to all the Tesla vehicles over Christmas 2022. But this being a 2014 Model S, which is as old as they get in the UK, this is a pre-autopilot car, so it doesn't have even a camera up here. It doesn't have a lot of the hardware that obviously the more modern cars do. So this video is just to show you the differences that this new software has given on these very early cars. So the main difference with this new user interface is the shortcuts along the bottom of the screen. So you've now got a ... button which gives you access to all the available menus, or in this case looking more like apps, and you have up to 4 locations here which you can put your favorite ones in. So in this case I've got 4. I've got Spotify, tune-in radio, rear camera feed and telephone. And on this side you have got the last used apps, I think that is. So if you have all 4 used here, you only see 1 on this side, which is the last one you used. But you can push and hold here and, let's say, remove telephone. Now I've only got 3, and now I've got 2 last used on this side. So that's the maximum you can have. So if I wanted to drag and drop telephone back down there, I've now got all 4, but I've only got 1 last used. So that's likely the setup most people will have, is just use up your 4 available slots here of the most commonly used apps. The other major change is the heating screens. So what we've lost is direct access to the seat heaters on either side. So to get to those, you can push that to turn on the heating. That's similar. You can swipe up to get your full heating screen, and here we have the seat heaters. But to get to those seat heaters, it's multiple clicks, whereas before it was directly on the lower menu. But the thing that is a real pain is it turns your heating on to get to it. So I then turn the heating off, because a lot of times I will want the seat heating on but not the actual heater system. But you can no longer turn the seats on without turning the heating on, and it's obviously too many clicks. So yeah, first thing I do to make any adjustment to the heated seats will usually involve turning the heating back off. So it is a step backwards. There's a lot of people complaining on the internet about that, and I'm sure Tesla will make a few tweaks to that, and maybe bring back direct access to the seat heating. You know, most of the year we're not using the seat heaters. You know, all through the summer it wouldn't be an issue. But in the winter, particularly if it's not too cold, you tend to want to adjust the seat heating and still keep the main heating system off. So hopefully they will make that change. But we do have this new little sub menu as well, which, to be honest, I don't think is needed. I think if it just brought that up every time, it would work better. The dog mode and camp mode and things there are quite nice. We've also got a new link to scheduling, you know, pre-conditioning as well, which is quite good. That's in a better location. So overall there's some improvements, but mainly the heating, the lack of seat heating, you know, is quite an issue. The other thing which has changed is the media screens. So in this case I can press Spotify here, but what you've got is I've got tune-in radio still there, because this is currently what is playing. So if I press Spotify, it gives me my Spotify account here. What's on the top band is still what is currently playing at the moment. But the thing I really don't like is if I press playlist and press my liked songs, I can only see 2 of them, whereas before you could see 8 or 10 or so. And there's an awful lot of wasted space here. Why this icon needs to be that big is beyond me. We can scroll down here and see the list of songs, but there's a lot of white space between them, and not particularly easy to do while you're driving. So yeah, if I press play there, let's just pause that. I'm now playing my favourite songs, but again I can only see 2. I've got play and pause here, so why do I still need it here, taking up a third of this media part of the screen? It's just beyond me. This is a step back, and when you're driving, not to be able to see the songs, yeah, it's not so good. Same if I go into TuneIn Radio. Obviously I've still got Spotify up here, but let's just pick a radio. You know, it's okay. This is okay. News and talk. I suppose the tile layout is better than, I think it was vertical before. That's one thing that's it's very easy to forget what was there before when you use any different interface. But yeah, certainly, you know, it doesn't feel like it's progress to me on the media streaming side. We've got buttons up here, so that one just brings up and down the lists, which a drag does the same thing, I suppose. That one is your search. What you'll notice is these are quite small, so when you're driving, going over bumps, quite difficult to hit, whereas before when your search was a full-size button down the bottom was better. And then the last one for settings goes straight into your audio settings. That's the other thing with this interface, is I do find everything is a little bit smaller, which isn't so good when you're on the move. You really want bigger gaps between some of the buttons, like they've done here. Bigger gaps between the songs. That's maybe where you don't need it because you've got a full line, but then they've put smaller gaps between the buttons. You know, it just, some of it doesn't feel quite so good. The maps have changed slightly, not by much. If I just drag that out the way with 2 swipes, we've got full screen maps. This is all very similar. If anything, it feels a little bit faster, but a lot of the Google information has disappeared from the maps, and you've now got an icon there where you can bring it back, whereas before this was charging, and charging has now gone. So you've got that where you can put all of the Google business information on the screen. You've also got traffic, and you've got satellite view as normal, and it's saving your preference all the time in your user profile. Charging is under navigate and charging just as it was before, but you've lost that little shortcut there to put the chargers straight on the maps. Now looking at the main controls for the car, this hasn't changed too much. The look of it has changed on all the screens. The font is all smaller. There's a lot more white space, but some of the menus, pedals and steering has changed. That used to think was called driving, I think. But anyway, the information in all of them is pretty similar. It's just the look of it has all changed really. But what has changed is the charging. Well, the bug in the charging has been fixed by the looks of it. So on this car, and I see a lot of people have been commenting this for a very long time now, if you schedule an overnight charge, typically to take advantage of cheap rate nighttime electricity tariffs, in my case Octopus Go, if I scheduled it to start at 12:30 in the morning, it would only charge at 16 amp, and that was a bug, and you're limited to 16 amp charging. Whatever you set this to, it will drop to 16 amp, which does mean you can't take full advantage of that 4-hour window of cheap rate energy because you're charging at 16 amp rather than 32 amp. I charged this last night for the first time and it's still at 32 amp this morning, so it looks like finally that's been fixed and we've got full 32 amp scheduled charging. There's a few other minor little differences, like if we click software and we look at the car information, the picture of the car has gone from there, but you know, that's not a big thing. Oh, we've also lost the X in the corner to get rid of the screen. So I'm assuming we can drag it down there, yes, or of course we could have just pushed that. And the main screen up here, your dash, nothing has changed on that by the looks of it. The changes to the navigation is mainly to do with waypoints. So waypoints was added in the previous update. So if I put a route in here, I can now add a stop. So let's just add a supercharger stop. But what you can now do is you can reorganize your waypoints and change your route. So I can click here, I can say edit trip, and you can drag and drop all your destinations in your route. And if you can have multiple ones of these and reorganize the order of those stops. So we'll just at this stage, I did pay to have the MCU2 upgrade on this car. So that's the computer, well, the screen and the computer behind the screen, because this was obviously an early Tesla and it had the MCU1 computer. It was getting a little bit glitchy and I had an issue where the navigation stopped working. So that could have been fixed with the SIM change, but I paid the money and had the upgrade, which I'm glad I did. It's made everything a bit faster, but when you're looking at the notes for version 11, what they are now referring to is your Intel Atom processor. So some of the updates only applicable to vehicles with the Intel Atom processor, and that basically means vehicles with the MCU2 computer. And one of those updates you get with the MCU2, if we go to arcade, you now get this new game and you also get Sonic the Hedgehog as well. Not that I really play games. Oh, we also get Sudoku as well, which we did have a little play with today while we're drinking some coffee. But yeah, a few new games. The interface of this has changed as well, which I do like. It's a lot neater, so everything's a lot smaller. We've also got tracks. Not that I'll ever be using that, but that looks like it's some sort of app to make music. The rest of this is all unchanged. Oh, gone out of it. Let's go back there, shortcut there. We've got the web browser and theatre. I was led to believe TikTok was going to come down on this as well, but as you can see, I don't have that, so maybe that's only for US cars and not UK cars at this stage. And finally, the shortcuts at the top have remained unchanged. You've got your door locking, charging, which brings you to the main charging screen, home link, and your profiles. None of that seems any different. So yeah, there we go, quick overview. I know people don't like change, so there has been a lot of negativity online about this update. I think if the heating screen and was fixed, and also some small improvements to the media screens, just allowing more information to appear on the screen and reducing the size of all the tiles, then it would be fantastic. But obviously, as I said, this being an older car, there isn't too many differences with it. It's just a slightly more modern, less cluttered feel to the whole interface. So that's it. If you found this video useful, please do click that thumbs up button on YouTube. And yeah, I will see you on the next one.